Hi, this is Christy Sloan, and today we're on an artful adventure again, looking at watercolor techniques. And today we're going to use watercolor crayons. And I've got some techniques to show you. I've got 3 images stamped here so that we can take a look at some different ways that you can use watercolor crayons. I've just got a couple of colors picked out today, and we're going to be using techniques with using our water brush again, a blender pen, and then also misting with water again. So let's get started. First, I'm going to show you if you just take your crayon. We've used this image before, and I just thought I would, give you a little bit, different look at how this could look. This is a larger image, and on this one, I'm going to use the watercolor brush because we've got a larger area that we can move the water around. And the watercolor crayons are some of my favorite things to use for the watercolor techniques. You can see it kind of dissolves from where you lay it down. If you want it darker, just don't, tap it so much with your water. And you can just spread it around. But that's one of the things, like when you're using it on your images, if you'll lay the color down in an area that already, has like the darker marks, it kind of is a good place to plan to use for, a little bit more depth of color. I haven't really done a great job on this one, but you can see how if you'll leave it alone and not, move it around too much, it will stay a little bit darker in those areas. And if you need to, you can go back and lay a little bit more color down if you want to, and continue to, to blend that. And again, you don't want to work it too much, or you'll just end up with a big mess. And that's one of the things with watercolor. It's like the more you work it, the less, I think the less beautiful it becomes. But there you go. So there we've got a little bit more color there. I'm going to add a little bit more on these spots. And then just blend it out a little bit. Okay, anyway, you get the idea. And if you haven't used the watercolor crayons, they're really a lot of fun. There's several. The ones I'm using today are from Stampin' Up. There are other companies that make them. So, they aren't something that's that hard to come by if you look at some different art suppliers. But the ones from Stampin' Up, the one thing about the ones from Stampin' Up is we have them that match all of the colors in the line. So if you're looking to use colors that will match your papers or markers or whatever, that's the nice thing about staying within one brand, is kind of the mix and match option that you have, staying within one brand of products. But who wants to do that all the time? Okay, so on this one, you can see all of the detail. Sorry. Okay, there's a lot of detail on this one. And using a lot of water would really kind of dilute it and probably make a big mess. So that's why on this one, we're going to use the blender pen. Now we're going to lay down the color in some of these places that are a little bit darker. And like I said, this is a good way to determine where you want to lay your color down. There's like cross hatching that makes it a little bit darker and appears to have a little bit more shading. And so that's where we're going to lay the color down on some of these. And you don't need a whole lot, because we're going to leave quite a bit of white on these as well for our highlighting. And then we'll just lay a little bit of green down. You just want just a little touch of color, and you're going to be surprised what a little does on this. Okay. I should have put some of this down before so you didn't have to watch this. Okay, a little bit on the stem. Looks like I missed these buds. Looks like those are buds. We'll make them buds anyway. They'll look like it when we're done. A bit more color here. Okay, so now, and I need another paper towel. As we move the color around with our blender brush, our blender pen, we're going to want to wipe it off once in a while. Otherwise it's going to get too dark. But you just begin to move the color around. And then I'm just going to wipe it off. And then I'm just going to go back and hit those with barely any color. My table's all wiggling while we do this. But you can see you're just going to move the color around. The blender pens are just so soft, and the color, it's just so, I don't even know, it's just like kind of buttery. You can just feel it moving around. I think I'm going to hit that a little bit more with a little darker center. And then you just continue and just wipe off in between. So you'll get a little bit more variation in your color as you move around your piece. I would sing you a song or tell you a story. I just don't, this is probably the quietest I've been in ages. Okay. Now, and I'm going to tell you now, I'm not going to finish and show a project again today. I just wanted to show you the techniques, kind of like we did yesterday. Okay, now we'll hit this green a little. We don't have to do much with it. You know, you just have a little bit of color there. But these are fun, and Stampin' Up! Has 4 different sets. I think it's 4, now that I say that. Anyway, there's several color families that you can pick up of a box of the Color Wonder crayons. They come in a nice little tin, which is nice to have. So there you go. That was it. So there you've got kind of a watercolor technique. This is one of my favorite stamp sets. And let me see what it's called. It's called Elements of Style. And so there you have it. So there's those 2 colors. Now the other technique that we're going to look at again today is one of the 2-step stamps. And we did this yesterday. We're going to do it again today. We're just going to take our stamp and we're going to lay the color right down on the stamp. We're going to use our Color Wonder crayon and just color right on the stamp. And then we're going to give it a little mist of water. Just a little spray, and it'll activate the watercolor crayon. And then we're going to stamp it over the line art from the first stamp. There's a lot of flowers that are two-step stamps. They just seem to be perfectly suited for that type of two-step stamp technique. Okay, now I'm just going to spritz it with water. I'm just going to let it set for a second. I got so much water on my stamp. I'm going to wipe some of that off so it doesn't get on the rest of the paper. Okay. And now we're just going to lay it down here. And then you've got that watercolor look. And this is actually a lot more watery and looks like that watercolor effect than the one we did yesterday. So anyway, there you've got it, the 3 techniques for using the watercolor crayons. I hope you'll give that a try. They're a lot of fun. And so again, the watercolor crayons, and you can either use it with a water brush, or you can use it with a blender pen, or give it a spritz of water right on your stamp. So I hope you'll be back, and next time we're going to look at using watercolor pencils. So hope you'll join me for that.